Welcome to David and David on Real Estate. Join us as we explore the ins and outs of the real estate market.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the David and David on Real Estate podcast. We are on episode number 38. And today is a very special episode because we are streaming live from the Buzz Conference. It's March 31st, 2022. And it's our first in-person event in over 2 years. We have a great setup here, and we have some special guests with us today as well.
Yeah, and it's really, really exciting to be here, to be out with 1,200 people from the real estate industry. And Virginia has done a fabulous job of putting this together, and we're so excited. So we're doing a few live podcasts here this morning, and then we're going to be on a panel this afternoon. So we got a full day. We're very excited. But right now, let me have the honor and pleasure of introducing our guests for today. We have two people with us, Katerina Markevich and Ina Bogdanov, who are the co-founders of IK Financial Mortgage Brokers. So welcome to the David and David podcast, and we're very excited for you to be joining us today.
Hi, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure.
Pleasure is all ours.
And first of all, we know that you are part of a panel later on today. So maybe tell us, why you were invited here. There's a million mortgage brokers out there, but somehow Virginia got you involved. So there's obviously something very special about what the two of you are doing at IK Financial.
Well, that probably goes back to the history and the origination of our company. Katerina and I have been partners for many years. We go back way back. We have formed our strategic alliance, our friendship. We've grown this company from scratch over the years. And I think this goes very well with the topic that everyone's discussing, and the whole theme of Buzz is forming strategic alliances, forming those partnerships, relationships that not only help us in our business, but also translate into all aspects of the industry.
That's amazing. I mean, that's why we're here as well. And it's great connecting with you guys. Networking is probably one of the most powerful aspects to any business out there. And the nice thing about Buzz is that, as I look around the room, I see some of the biggest names out there in the industry. I see some really big speakers, some really big keynotes, some really big teams. And it's great to spend the whole day here, rub elbows, exchange ideas, network, and really elevate your business to the next level.
Yes, completely
Absolutely.
agree. Yes.
So you guys are speaking in a little bit. You guys have your own session. What are you guys speaking on today?
As Ina mentioned, we would be probably talking about the team, about how to create the partnership and good relationship with everybody, like with the real estate agent, mortgage brokers, real estate lawyers. So you have to have a full team on your back in order to deliver the excellent customer experience and for everybody to benefit. And we'll be sharing our experience. We'll be sharing how we do it and how we've been successful through all those years doing that.
And as Katerina mentioned, we think that the landscape of the market has changed in many ways. And it is more important than ever nowadays to form those partnerships, those alliances, to ensure that we deliver the best client experience and overall experience, because it's become less so about transaction and more so about the wholesome experience for the clients.
Yeah, that's a fabulous message, and I hope everybody in the building attends that session. David and I talk about this a lot of times in our podcast too, about the teamwork involved, and it's teamwork within your own organization, but then the team you got to build of other professionals that you work with. And I think it's a great message. So I guess with your team, it started with the two of you finding each other.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Yes, it happened a long time ago. I would say over 12 years. Ina and I, we used to work at one of the major financial institutions before, as different roles. And Ina was already a mortgage development manager at one of the biggest banks, and I was working at that bank as well. And actually, it was that time when Ina was looking for help because she was pregnant with her first first girl, first baby, and she understood that having a baby, obviously, she would be able to dedicate herself 24/7 to the business, and she couldn't leave clients unattended. So she was looking for partners, and that's how we met. And it was a love from the first sight. I think we just met in a coffee shop. We just exchanged a few words, and since then we've been working together. So we've been working together first at a couple of major banks. We moved as a team. Like, we were probably one of the first teams, I would say, at that time, because all the mortgage brokers or mortgage development managers, they've been working by their own for longest time. And because even when we went from one bank to another, they had to create this team concept, especially for us. And we started to advertise together and to share actually the team concept with everybody, all our partners, and of course the clients, because let's stop here probably, because otherwise I'm gonna talk for 4 days. That's basically how we met, and we created IK Financial, which is I stays for Ina and K for Katerina, so it's Ina Katerina Financials.
Love it.
And we've been successfully working since then, and now our team is growing. We have mortgage underwriters, we have assistants, we have marketing managers, HRs, and so on. So we are completing our team, and just to ensure that experience. So our credo is that everybody must have a boutique experience. It's not just about any experience, it's about boutique experience. And boutique experience, we actually talking about that not in terms of just the client, right? So for clients, of course, it's very important, but we figured out during those years that we must provide the boutique experience to everybody, all the parties involved, which is our own team, of course, and all the partners, real estate partners, lawyers, and everybody who is involved in the transaction. Because having everybody happy and work together creates this boutique experience for everybody.
I love that, and I think that's a big buzzword, is consumer experience. I think it's more important now than ever. It's not about the transaction. It's not about the money. It's not about just putting the deal together. It's about building those lasting relationships, right? And real estate investing has become so mainstream. Like, I mean, you think about the average person and you know how many transactions they do in a lifetime, and it doesn't stop at one. You know, people buy a condo for their daughter or their son. They buy investment property. They buy a house for themselves. People are transacting real estate more so than ever before. And it's really important to, you know, give them that amazing experience where it's memorable and they actually remember who you are and they keep coming back to you. So I think, you know, not focusing on the transaction itself and focusing on the experience is definitely the message of the day.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? It's interesting to hear your story because you're working at a financial institution, doing mortgage work, finding loans for clients. But when you're there, you're sort of stuck with the products that they offer.
Right.
You can't go outside, whatever it is. So you're trying to sell what they have, and as good as it is or as bad as it is, that's what you got to sell. And then at some point, you make the decision, take a big leap of faith to go and do your own thing, open up your own brokerage, and now you can still deal with the major banks, you can deal with all the B lenders, you can deal with credit unions, mortgage companies, private lenders. Like it all opens up to you, so you could offer, I'm guessing, a much more varied product and a better experience.
Most definitely, and we realized you're absolutely correct in saying that we felt limited. We felt limited, and we felt like we weren't doing a proper job for our clients when we were constrained with the product offering of any one particular financial institution. We are successful due to the fact that we are able to provide, and we take a lot of pride in the fact that we provide our clients with that wholesome experience. We don't only look at one transaction, but we have their entire financial picture, not only financial picture in mind. When we create and recommend solutions for our clients, we look at their family situation, their personal life, their preferences, their risk tolerances, their plans for life, right? And that's what really is the driving factor when we create those recommendations and solutions. And we cannot be limited by product offering of any one particular financial institution. We have to have all the options available and open to our clients. And this is what makes us successful. And that's what I think our clients really value, because they know that at any point in time, they can pick up the phone, they can call us, and we can open up the file and we know exactly what's going on, and we can make those recommendations for them.
Yes, and that's why we have lots of clients who's been with us for years, like some of them for 10 years. We are doing lots of transaction. We are very experienced as Ina mentioned. We are creating the whole strategy. So we are asking them for their long-term goals. We know what happens to their family in their particular situation, and we create a strategy. Because from our experience, what some clients think that even when somebody is going on the market, and the first question that they ask for the mortgage broker, what's your rate, right? So
Right.
that's the question that we hear all the time. But in reality, it doesn't really matter what's the rate. Like, it's not about the rate at all. It's about the whole picture together, right? So we might give you the best possible rate right now on this particular transaction, but you would be tied up. You won't be able to buy something else, or you won't be able to refinance the property, or you won't be able to move ahead with your life, or if something changes, what's going to happen, right? So you will end up paying lots of penalties or anything like that. So we oversee that like further, like many steps, I would say.
I can
And-
pretty much safely say, sorry for interrupting, that we've seen it all. And when we are surprised at nothing at this point. And when our clients tell us, oh, no, this is not going to happen to me, or this isn't going to be me, in the back of our minds, we know that there's always that possibility. And you know how many times it happened that our clients will go back to us, a few years down the road and say, oh my gosh, we're so great, you recommended this against what we originally thought, because we can foresee a lot of situations before they happen, just like we can guess most of the questions they're going to ask before they ask. We know pretty much what's coming, and that's what helps us make those proper suggestions and recommendations for our clients.
Yeah, I really like the fact that you get them off talking about just the rate. It's, that's only one of the factors in the decision that they have to make. It's, the rate is sort of an obvious one for them to look at, and they want it to be a competitive rate. But yeah, explain to them all the variables that go into a mortgage, and different benefits and different discharge costs and prepayment privileges, and it goes on and on. There's a whole bunch of things way beyond the interest rate, and then all the peripheral costs. Your fees as a broker, the legal fees they're going to incur, getting an appraisal done. Like, there's a bunch of other costs too. So really, they got to look at the whole thing and the big picture, and not just say, oh, I just need this good rate. Well, what good is having that rate if you're locked into a mortgage that's going to look horrible a couple of years from now, and you don't have a right to prepay anything or any other privileges? So that's where I think your value really comes in, is to go through all of that and show all the benefits of the loan and a comparison of one loan to another.
Yes, and we've been really honest all the time. We don't really, we just create a strategy that works for the client. Like, we create the strategy same way if somebody would create it for us, right? So we appreciate, in our clients and partners, they do appreciate the honesty. We never promise something that we cannot deliver. So if we promise, it's 100% will be delivered. Most likely it would be delivered even better than what we promised. But we never promise something and then, oh, sorry, it didn't work. And the clients, we consult the client in each and every aspect. No matter if it's a first-time home buyer or 1,000-time home buyer, like experienced investors, we still consult them, and they know exactly how the process works. They know exactly what to expect. There is no hidden fees or anything like that. They know everything up front, including even closing costs, that most of the brokers, they think it's not their responsibility to advise about the closing costs or anything else from the legal perspective, but we do. Like, we cover all the angles just for the client to have a smooth and experience, and not to have any surprises, I would say unpleasant surprises later on.
Again, I think it ties back to the whole consumer experience, right? If you're upfront about all the costs, and if you're upfront about exactly what the expectation should be every step of the way, including at the very end, there's no surprises, and it just elevates that whole consumer experience to a completely different level. So I give you guys lots of credit. Let me ask you this question. At what point did you realize that it's time to leave one of the major institutions and go on your own and open up your own solution, your own company?
It's been about, I would say, 10 years ago. And as I said, Ina and I, we went to from one financial institution to another financial institution as a team. And we had lots of obstacles, I would say, because we were probably the first ones who created a team of mortgage professionals. Everybody were working on their own, and that bank, they had to specifically design the program for us, because we always worked as a team. So it was always either me or Ina working with the client. So basically we were, I would say there is no day offs, no vacations or anything, because somebody is always available. Obviously we have lots of time for our family. We spend time with our family. We can we have the good balance between work and life, but we were not able to do it without having a team together. So one of the obstacles was obviously the team, because it was always hard for the bank to accept that part, that it's not just one, it's two of us. And the second and the biggest one, we saw how we were limited with the bank's products. Even if the bank was amazing, they have really good products, but not for 100% of clients, not for everybody. And we think that each and every client deserves a mortgage, and there is a way for them to be qualified for a mortgage and being able to afford the property, buy a property, and that's why we thought that we became probably too big for a bank, and we decided to move out and have access to all the banks, and provide the opportunity for each and every client to have this amazing experience and being able to get a mortgage.
I wish I was a fly on the wall when you're having a conversation with the bank manager or the hiring individual and telling them, hey, you don't get just one person, you get two. We're a package deal, and
Yes.
and by the way, you have to work outside of your policies and figure this out. And this is the best experience that we bring for the customer, and this is how we do it. But I think very early on, I think that really speaks to your ingenuity and your ability to think outside the box. And it started very early on, because selling that to a major institution like a chartered bank, selling them on that idea that you guys work together as a team, and if they do hire you're a package deal, and you support each other. And I mean, I bet there were times when your partnership was tested, but you guys looked out for each other, stuck through with each other, and look at where you guys have accomplished today. It's great.
Thank you very much, David. And then just to add to that too, most of us know at the banks, we were limited by their product offerings, but also you see how fast-paced this industry is, how quickly it changes, how dynamic it is. And only those, we really truly believe that and it's been proven through all of these years that we've been working together, that only those who are able to adapt to change very quickly and be very responsive to the environment we're in, only those can succeed. And we felt that being tied by a large institution or a big bank, they're not as flexible. Unfortunately, the reality remains still that the banks are not flexible. They don't adapt to change as quickly as we feel that the industry should. And that was another major reason why we decided to venture out on our own. And right now we do take pride in the fact that in our company too, throughout those years, it has evolved lots and lots and lots. We always create something new. We always try something new. We always have new ideas. And because we are a small boutique shop, we are able to jump on those ideas and act on them right away. And that's a major contributing factor to our success, I think.
I think it's a fabulous story, and I love the team concept that you brought to your part of the industry, and I can certainly relate, because as in my law firm, we've done the exact same thing. It wasn't about me, and it's not about other lawyers. We don't have individual lawyers practicing. We're very much a team concept of lawyers. We're doing it the exact same way. If you can't get me, you get my partner, Jonathan Cohen, who you know, or you get one of the other lawyers we have in our office. Every lawyer gets to know all the clients, all the clerks, because we're living in a different world that's evolving, and people need things done yesterday, and they can't wait for you. So we all want to have a personal life, but somebody else has to still pick up the ball and run with it. So that's the way we approach the law practice. It's very similar to the way you guys are doing it with the teamwork.
Yes,
so
David,
I love
and
that.
As you know, we work with you, and we really love working with you guys. You are very flexible. You're always reachable, and it's an amazing experience
Very
for
accommodating,
everybody.
and our clients are always have excellent reviews and feedback.
Well, it's a team effort, right? It's a
It
team
is.
effort, and it all goes to that customer experience and having a very similar approach, and really, working really hard to make sure that the client is happy. And it doesn't. It starts with the mortgage broker, because I think everybody should go through a pre-qualification process before starting to work. But it carries on with the agent, and then it carries on with the law office at closing. And credit to you guys. I bet you guys are very involved in the closing process as well, explaining all the fees and really working through that relationship. But again, it's a team effort, and every single professional has to work hand in hand to ensure that ultimately the consumer is taken care of. They know what's going on. Everything's explained to them from A to Z, and their interests are first and foremost.
Definitely, and we didn't mention about our real estate partners, because it's really important to work together, and not just to work together, just to have, I would say, team and those relationships that you can rely on each other, right?
To communicate.
And communicate, of course, to have a clear communication, because even with today's crazy market, I would say it's with multiple offers and everything what's going on, you have to be able to pick up the phone and call and get the reassurance that if you go a little bit high on an offer, you would be able to have the mortgage done, and your transaction will close, and everybody will have a great experience, like you as a real estate agent, client, everybody, right? So it's very important to create this intimacy, I would say, like with all the, like, to have your own team, right? Your own team, and we treat everybody actually as a family. So our team, it's not just about work relationship. We are much closer. So we treat everybody as a team, and we want, again, I repeat myself, but we want to have a boutique experience for everybody.
And let me say this to all the realtors listening: such a key message out there, right? And if you recommend the right law firm, if you recommend the right mortgage partners to your clients, and they have a great experience, following that recommendation and leaning on those professionals that you recommended, you're going to look better.
For sure.
The possibility of them coming back and buying another property and using you and recommending you to their friends, family, colleagues, and people that they work with to buy their next real estate property or to sell their next property exponentially increases, right? Because again, it's all about the consumer experience, and having the right team and using the right team and recommending the right team if you're a realtor is very, very important. And one thing I say to my realtors is I tell them, listen, take these mortgage brokers, go meet the lawyer, take them out for lunch, build a relationship with them. Right? Because you mentioned the word family, and I think that's so important, right? But we as professionals have to keep working on these relationships every single day and keep elevating them to the next level. So, I would love to see more realtors actually taking the mortgage professionals out and building that relationship and really forging it way stronger, because I think if you have a strong family, if you have a strong relationship, everybody benefits.
Yes, I completely agree, and I'll tell you more, David. We have really good database, and we keep all the records for each and every client, because obviously we have thousands and thousands of clients, and you can remember right away like where the client came from. So we have all that recorded, and most of the time when the transaction is over, like a year after or sometime later the client might call us, wanted to refinance the property or do something, and we always refer the client to that real estate agent who referred us the client initially.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
we are sending the business back to them, and that's why our real estate partners, they do appreciate it. So they appreciate the honesty, and they appreciate that we actually generate the business for them.
I love
That's fabulous.
Yes, and so some of the our biggest partners, I would say, I can tell that they send us 100% of their business. They want just us to deal with their clients because they know they're in good hands. They know
trust
for
you
sure,
guys.
that
I
the
think the word is
transaction,
trust.
for sure,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Well, I think in today's market conditions, it's even more important because we're in a situation still where there's multi-offers coming in. So most offers that are being submitted these days are without conditional clauses,
Yes.
conditional on financing, conditional on status certificate reviews if it's a condo, conditional on
Sure.
inspection. So you have to know that you've got your financing in place before you make an offer. So
Definitely.
that there is a real element of teamwork that has to go on at that point with the agent and the mortgage broker, and it's your role to make sure that they've not just qualified for mortgage, but they've got a real approval, not just approval subject to 20 conditions that they may not be able to meet down the
Of
road.
course.
You got it right on.
Right? You've
Yeah.
got to really get financing in place for them. Otherwise, they're left hanging with an offer that they've signed.
Or sometimes when you're negotiating and you're in that process, it's oftentimes after hours, late into the night, and you want to make sure that when that situation does arise and you can pick up the phone or you can send a text message, you're not just calling the bank, good luck with that, right? And you can say, can I add an extra 10,000? And you've got somebody on the other line telling you, yes, go ahead, they're good to go.
Right. And sometimes it's more than 10,000. You're buying a
Yeah.
property, you think it's going to be for $1 million. You got
I know.
your
I
mortgage
didn't want to
pre-approved for
scare
$1
our
million.
listeners. I just said 10,000.
I know, and all of a
for
sudden
reason.
it's $1.1 million, it's $1.2 million, and it's like, help,
Yeah.
Katerina, Ina, can I need 200,000 more to buy the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
property that
yeah.
I thought I was going to buy for $1 million.
Yeah, David, and we deal with that all the time. And I repeat, we have actually a really good system in place. So what I'm telling my clients as well, some of the clients, they go to a bank in order to get a pre-approval, because lots of real estate agents, they do the right thing. They say go to the bank, get the pre-approval letter, and only with the pre-approval letter we're gonna go and search for a property. The only issue with that most of the time when they go to the bank and get the pre-approval letter, most of the time, the bank is not checking properly their finances, right? So when the clients come to us, we have completely different approach. We collect everything from the client, even blood samples. I'm just kidding. No, but
DNA.
we do. We
DNA,
collect all the documents, because it's not necessarily that we would be using those documents, but we have to have the full picture. We have lots of banks we work with, and some of the banks, they have one requirement, another bank another requirement. So we know exactly where to place the finances for the specific client, and we are giving them different options, because each and every client, they have not just one option, they have multiple options all the time. So we are providing different options for the clients if they want to stay within this budget or the other budget. And after we've done all our qualification, it's even much more than a pre-approval, because we had some clients coming back to us with the bank's pre-approval offers, crying, saying that we bought for less money and we got declined. Why?
Well, most people don't understand, but those pre-approval letters, the way they're written, there's no guarantees in there.
Correct.
They're
Yes.
completely
There's
conditional.
a lot of wiggle room for the lender, that's for sure.
and they're written in a way where the bank can really pull the commitment at any time. Most people don't understand, but a mortgage is collectible on demand. If your situation substantially changes, if you have unpaid taxes, if you declare bankruptcy, even when the mortgage is issued, it's very rare. But I mean, banks have the ultimate power. It's their money at the end of the day. So,
Yes.
consumers really need to understand this, right?
Yes,
They
and-
need to understand that, if a commitment is issued, they don't go out and buy a new car.
Mhm.
For
they,
sure.
They don't
Yes.
don't go out and buy 10 new TVs on credit, right?
Mhm.
And they really have to safeguard their credit score as well, right?
And it's our job to explain that to our client. But as I was saying earlier, we know which questions our clients will ask before they ask. We also know what the banks are going to ask before they do. So when we do those, when we prepare those applications, when we interview our clients, when we get those files ready, before we make any recommendations, we know what's going to be asked, and we make sure that every angle is covered before we give our client that green light to go ahead on that multiple, because we know what may come up and what will come up, and we will have it covered before they go off property searching.
And I wanted to add one more thing. It's not just we give the green light to the client, we talk to the real estate agent as well. So we do tell them what the budget is. Obviously, the clients, they do know that we disclose some of the information just in terms of the budget. No other personal information has been disclosed. And so the real estate agent, they know how much they can look for the property. And again, those pre-approvals, sometimes there is a wiggle room depending on type of the property, if it's going to be a condominium, or it would be a freehold property, or maybe duplex, or a house with a finished basement apartment. So all those small things that affect the qualification, and we actually give different scenarios to the real estate agent to look for a property for a client, and obviously to have this direct line and to communicate with us when the multiple offer situation happens, or if they need to go like higher on the purchase price.
Well, now there's a new variable that's got to be part of your discussion with them too, because we've had historically low interest rates that were down for a long time, and then recently we've had an increase in the interest rates, and Bank of Canada's been meeting in a couple weeks again, and the speculation is there might be a further increase. This might be the first of a series of increases. So now you got to protect your clients about, in terms of timing and, jumping into the market, and, how do you deal with rising interest rates?
Actually, there is, let's put it this way. We had the interest rates that we have today, I would say pretty normal with the healthy economy, right? And we used to have pretty much the same interest rates before COVID started. When COVID started, the interest rate went down, and actually Ina and I, we were laughing when clients asking what are the interest rates. We were saying the mortgages are free right now, because that's pretty much what it was. Having those low interest rates, it wasn't okay. It wasn't normal, I would say. Normality is what's happening right now, right? So in a healthy economy, the rate should be pretty much at the point that we have right now. It's I would say a lot of many clients, they're afraid about the interest rate, because some of them, they think if their rate was 2% and now it's going to be 3.5% or 4%, they start to pay double mortgage payments, which is not true. It does affect their mortgage payment, of course, but not that much. So we are showing all those payments to the clients. We just theoretically changing the interest rate, saying, let's assume the interest rate would be that. Can you afford it? So the clients see that it's not the end of the world, I would say, right? And actually, those interest rates that are rising right now, it helps the economy recover.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about really perspective, and we have to make sure that when we explain it, there's a lot of noise in the media, and unfortunately most people fall victim to that all the time, but we've been working for so many years that when we sit down with our clients, and when that rate discussion does come up, we have to show them, and it's our job to show them how the rates have changed over the years. And in a healthy economy, like Katerina said, the rates were never this low. This wasn't normal, neither was it sustainable. So we're glad to see that the economy is taking a natural turn to recover, bring itself back to where it really should be, right? And again, we've showed them that only a few years ago, rates were much higher than what the highest prediction is even for today. And yet, people were able to buy homes. They were able to pay their mortgages. We weren't in a default situation. We didn't see any crash or any bubble bursting or any of those things that have always been predicted to us. And yet we've yet to see that happen, right?
So let me ask you a tough question. Bank of Canada is meeting on April 13th to discuss interest rates.
Right.
What do you guys think is going to happen on the 13th of April? Are rates going up again?
If we are talking about a prime rate, we think that the prime rate most likely will go up. It might happen in April, it might happen later on, but it most likely it will go up again. And as I said, it's normal. Because even right now, the gap, I would say the difference between variable rates and the fixed rates are drastic. Sometimes it's over 1%, sometimes it's over 1.5%. So we still have lots of room for the prime to go up. And
to be at a level where it really should be
Yes.
in today's rate and in today's environment, and where the economy is, where the markets are. So we do feel that there probably will be an increase, maybe a series of gradual increases, but it's not going to be a lot of people, our clients, think that you go to sleep one night and your prime is at this, and then you wake up the next day and it's triple. It doesn't work like that. It would never be this way. It would be gradual, it will be predicted, so it will be known in advance, so there's going to be no surprises there.
Yeah, that's an important message, and that's part of the hand-holding that you do to do your job properly, to be educating your clients, coaching your clients so they understand what the variables could be and how significant they are. But bottom line, you're right. Like these are really good interest rates. Even if you have another hike, if you have a couple more hikes, these are still really good
For sure.
interest
Yeah.
rates when you look at the history, and you can't just don't look at the last 2 years or 5 years. You got to look longer term and see where interest rates have been. So I know what I hear from clients sometimes. Okay, so if I'm getting a mortgage now, I'm buying a property, my rate's going to be pretty good right now in 2022. But if I got a 3-year term or a 5-year term, what if the mortgage doubles by the time I got to refinance it? How am I going to afford to keep the house at that point in time? So how do you address that type of question?
And actually, we do address those type of questions right away before actually recommending a product to the client. So when we speak about the difference between a variable rate and a fixed rate, we emphasize that the variable rate, let's say at 1.5 or 2% today, is not going to stay forever. It might increase. If the Bank of Canada will increase the prime, the rate will go up again. So, and we calculate those scenarios for the client. So we are doing some assumption and saying, let's assume the prime would be at that. That's going to be your payment. Would you afford that? So we do calculate all of that, and that's how we kind of feel the client, feel the risk tolerance, and basically explain how the mortgage works. Even with the fixed rate, yes, the fixed rate is guaranteed and it's not going to change for the term. Either it's 1, 2, 3, or 5 years or 7 years. But after the term, after the maturity, the rate might change. And they have to understand that too. So we actually explain that in all details. And what works, numbers. We calculate, we show them what's going to be the payment, worst case scenario, and so they understand it clearly. Because as I said, lots of clients, they think that it would be double or triple of their mortgage payment, which is never the case.
It's hard to argue with numbers.
Yes.
Right? They're black and white. They're in front of you, and you need numbers to make good decisions.
For sure.
We're running a little low on time, but let me ask this question to wrap up. What advice would you give to agents in this market?
Well, first and foremost, build a great team around you. Make sure you have the support system that's going to make you and help you be successful and to help you deliver that experience to your client. It's super important, and we feel now more so than ever. Like we mentioned before, the industry is so dynamic, it changes so quickly, and you have to make sure that you are surrounded by professionals that keep their hand on pulse at all times, that know what's going on in the market, that help you grow your business, that give the right recommendations and advice to your client, and help you provide that experience to your customer where they feel that they're protected, they're loved, that they're getting the best value from their team that works for them.
Yes, and it's much easier for the client not to be stressed and run around and look for one professional as a real estate agent, another as a mortgage or the bank, and then a lawyer, and get the legal advice, and they're getting that information that must sometimes it's actually contradictory too, and they really frustrated, especially with those overwhelmed and frustrated. So if you build the good team and you really trust and rely on your on those professionals, so you create a great experience for everybody, not just for the client, but for everybody, all the parties involved.
Well, Katerina and Ina, it's been an honor and pleasure having you on. We can certainly see why they wanted you here at the Buzz Conference today. You've got a great message. You've got great energy to what you bring to the profession. You think out of the box. You have a great message of teamwork and professionalism and teamwork within your office and looking for partners. And I think that's why you're on the leading edge, and they wanted you here at Buzz to pass that message on. And thank you for spending some time and sharing your thoughts with us today. It's been fabulous.
Thank you very much for having us. It's been a
Pleasure
real
having you
pleasure.
guys. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of the Buzz Conference. Can't wait to hear you guys speak later on.
Thank you.
Thank
as
you.
well.
Bye.
Bye.